On Wednesday, January 26, 1966, three siblings, Jane 9 years old, Anna 7 years old, and Grant Beaumont 4 years old, vanished from Glenelg Beach on Australia Day. Despite extensive investigations, no significant breakthroughs have ever been made. This case has become Australia's most enduring cold case mystery, haunting the nation for decades. In 2024, we explored the chilling details, analyzing the evidence and possible theories surrounding their disappearance, just as we do with other unsolved mysteries. Now in 2025, nearly 60 years after that fateful Wednesday, investigators have revealed shocking new updates. These developments have reignited hope in solving one of the longest-running cold cases in recent history. Welcome to Bad Things. Today we'll take a deep dive into the disappearance of the Beaumont children, starting with a brief overview of the case background and leading up to the latest revelations from investigators. Background. Parents Jim and Nancy Beaumont allowed their children to go to Glenelg Beach for an outing. The beach was just a 5-minute drive from their home. You might find it unusual that children this young were allowed to roam freely. However, in 1966, families were generally unaware of potential dangers and didn't worry much about their children's security. Just a day before their disappearance, Jim dropped his children off at the beach. He trusted Jane, the eldest, to look after her siblings and bring them home safely.
What sort of a girl is Jane, the 9-year-old? Is she...
Oh, very intelligent, very intelligent. You've only got to tell her a thing once, and she always does what she's told, never to talk to any strangers on the beach. When she swims there, always in groups.
Be quite able to look after the other two?
Oh, quite capable, quite capable.
Their father's confidence grew when the children returned home safely that day. So the next morning, the trio caught a bus to the beach around 8:45 a.m., planning to return 3 hours later. However, this time, their parents' confidence turned into never-ending fear when their children never came home. There were several red flags that helped investigators piece together what might have happened to the children. One of the prime suspects was a tall, fair-haired man in his mid-30s wearing swimming trunks. Although the children were typically reserved, they were seen approaching and playing with this man. However, this theory didn't gain much traction, especially when considering a statement made by Anna just days before the disappearance. She had told her mother that Jane had made a boyfriend at the beach. An eyewitness later claimed to have seen a girl with the man carrying an airline bag. The description of the girl matched Jane's appearance. Another important observation came from a shopkeeper at the bakery. The trio had paid £1 for pastries and a meat pie, which was surprising as it was a substantial amount of money for children to have in the 1960s. Additionally, their mother had only given them 6 shillings and sixpence, enough for lunch and the bus fare to return home. This raised the possibility that the children were with someone else when they disappeared, likely the man they had been seen playing with. Months after the strange disappearance, a woman came forward claiming to have seen the children entering an abandoned house with a man. She also reported seeing a young boy running from the house, but he was eventually chased and caught by the man. However, the next day, the house was empty with no signs of the man or the children. What made this report questionable, though, was the woman's delayed testimony. Even if her account had some relevance to the case, the passage of time likely meant that any evidence had been removed or destroyed. There were many sightings and clues, but none led to an official conclusion in the case. Sadly, the parents passed away without ever being reunited with their children or discovering what happened to them. While the case remains unsolved, there is one suspect whose name still sends shivers down people's spines. Surprisingly, he remains a central figure in heated debates about the case, even in 2025. He is not just a part of random discussions, but continues to play a significant role in the recent efforts made by investigators this year. Who is this man? Did they prove him guilty? Before we dive deeper into these chilling details, we'd like to remind you to subscribe to our channel if you're new. We share mysterious cases like this one, uncovering hidden details and trying to look for answers. A potential suspect. If you'd like to see a full list of suspects in this case, be sure to check out our previous video. In this one, we want to highlight the most recent updates which are directly connected to a suspect named Harry Phipps. Take a look at the sketch created by investigators based on the features of the suspicious man the trio was reportedly seen playing with before their disappearance. We believe the physical description closely matches that of Phipps. Do you think the pictures resemble each other? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Phipps, a father of two and a wealthy businessman, passed away at the age of 86 in 2004 without ever being investigated. He wasn't considered a suspect when the investigation first began in the 1960s. At the time of the mysterious disappearance, Phipps lived on the corner of Augusta and Sussex Streets in Glenelg, just 300 meters from the beach. According to Daily Mail, his son Hayden referred to him as a kidnapper in 2007. He also accused Phipps of physically and sexually abusing him as a child. These statements were not dismissed as mere random remarks. Instead, they were seen as crucial details that could alter the entire direction of the case. What potentially links Phipps to the disappearance is his claim of having seen the trio at their home on January 26, 1966. The suspicions surrounding Phipps were further raised when authors Alan Wicker and Stuart Mullen published their book, The Saturn Man, uncovering the mystery of the missing Beaumont children in 2013. Given his strong interest in this case, Stuart has also uncovered many details on a YouTube channel dedicated to the Beaumont children. He revealed information about Hayden's wife, who strongly supported her husband's statements. As a clinical nurse, she had closely observed individuals who had been sexually abused. She believed her husband displayed all the symptoms of abuse, which led her to accuse her father-in-law Phipps and potentially tie him to this case. Digging a grave-sized hole. What makes the situation even more suspicious is the revelation from two brothers, Robin and David Harkin. As youths, they claimed that Phipps had paid them to dig a grave-sized hole at his factory, Castalloy on Mooring Avenue in North Plimpton. The reason for digging this hole was never made clear. However, a neighbor who reportedly saw the brothers digging explained that, according to them, the hole was intended to bury a big dog. In 2013, investigators renewed their hopes due to the exploration of a small section of the factory site. The advancement in technology provided a strong motivation for investigators to uncover something that wasn't possible in the 1960s. However, nothing related to the case was found, and the case remains unsolved. In 2018, investigators returned to the factory and discovered several bones, but they were from animals, not humans. That same year, a woman who chose to remain anonymous came forward with a disturbing revelation. Harry Phipps had abused her as a child in 1979. She was just 14 years old at the time and lived near Phipps's factory. Interestingly, she initially didn't view Phipps as horrible or nasty. However, his behavior changed after he guided her across an empty block. Now, if we consider the scenario, this behavior seems to closely match the situation with the suspicious man who was seen playing with the trio. It's possible that he first tried to gain their trust by offering them money. Then, he might have used fake kindness to get closer to them. Once the children were unaware of any danger, he could have taken the opportunity to act on his dark intentions. Ultimately, it's believed that he may have buried the siblings in the hole on his property. The case is now nearly 60 years old, with the deaths of the parents and a potential suspect. However, that doesn't mean the mystery has been forgotten. The children continue to evoke sympathy, and this is why it still received significant updates in 2025. Renewed search in 2025. This is seen as the final opportunity to locate the remains of the trio, as the government-owned land is set to be redeveloped. This time, excavators plan to dig deeper and explore a new area. The privately funded excavation is being led by independent state MP Frank Pangialo, who considers this search crucial due to new information provided by former Castalloy employees following the 2018 dig. The public remained hopeful as Pangialo collaborated with Stuart Mullins, former South Australian police detective Bill Hayes, and forensic archaeologist Maciej Henneberg. A glimmer of hope emerged on February 24th when investigators made an unexpected discovery. Initially, they expected to find concrete, but instead they uncovered a large hardened slab. The investigators were unsure why the slab was there, but continued digging, hoping to uncover something relevant to the case. It logically suggests that someone may have used a hardening material to compact the sand, potentially to conceal their crime. Frank Pangialo has revealed that at least 2 meters of fill had been added to the site over the decades, which raises the possibility that previous excavations didn't go deep enough. The latest dig involves removing several meters of dirt and trees. Now here's something significant. 2 key figures in this case, the Harkin brothers, who dug the hole for Phipps in 1966, provided investigators with valuable information. This is quite surprising for a disappearance that happened almost 60 years ago. Their insights even changed the direction of the dig, as they were able to identify the exact hole they had dug. The brothers' main focus was on the presence of unique red sand, which they distinctly remembered digging through. Extra information on the case. As the ongoing excavations made headlines, the public became increasingly aware of this enduring mystery. Investigators reported being flooded with emails and calls, providing information about the case. This shows that even if the dig doesn't yield something useful, any clue from any person might eventually lead to the official conclusion. Not only experts, but also everyday social media users are contributing their thoughts and experiences that could potentially help investigators. For example, one user on Reddit commented, "Yeah, I reckon Phipps is 100% guilty. I could see him taking them elsewhere," or as someone else mentioned, that they could have been reduced to ashes as it was a metal burning factory. However, due to the passage of time, investigators may not be able to obtain further evidence from witnesses who were present at the time of the incident. A link between a suspect and the victim's family. Along with the new search, a bombshell link between Phipps and the Beaumont family has emerged through marriage. Pangialo revealed that someone close to the family informed him about the marriage of Jim Beaumont's cousin and Phipps's niece, which took place years after the children vanished. This previously unknown detail has strengthened the theory of Phipps's potential involvement in the case. Imagine if the children were familiar with Phipps. This could have benefited him on the day of the chilling disappearance. We know that it's easier for relatives or familiar figures to lure children, especially considering the shy nature of the trio. Given all the facts and figures, we personally believe Phipps is connected to this case. Since the investigation is still ongoing, we may see another shocking update in the coming days. Time is passing, and all we can do now is wait and watch to see what unfolds next. As Pangialo quoted, "This search will be the last opportunity to search the area where those closest to the case believe their bodies were buried, before new industrial or residential developments are built on the site, who helped organize the dig. While we are hopeful the new search will help solve the mystery, it's also important to discount the site as the children's burial ground, if we can." What do you think about the recent updates? Has the new information changed your perspective on this case? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.